everybody to the first episode of
GellyBlik stories. Some say GellyBlik,
some say GellyBlik.
whatever you prefer. We can all agree that it's a place of community,
A place of family,
a place of belonging,
a place of warmth,
and storytelling around the fire. And so for the next season, we're going to be telling these stories. We welcome you to sit around the fire with us. So many years, so many stories. Sure. What an incredible season this is.
It is, man. Just the way we were speaking last week when everyone was saying how our faith is being challenged and this whole new levels, I think, especially for some of you guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but I mean, this season actually reminds me a lot of the season when God called me to missions, because my childhood dream was to be in Hollywood, and the Lord had made an amazing way for me to get there and fulfilling that dream. And then when I was ready to move out, lock, stock and barrel, come and pick up all my things from South Africa, move out, had a green card organized and everything, the Lord said, I want you to go into missions. And I was like, oh. But what does that even mean? You know?
Yeah.
What does missions mean? And so I thought it was going to be like David Livingstone, chopping down forests and things like that, you know. Yeah, and so to give up all the arts and to give up my dream of, with the performing arts, theatre, musical theatre, film, and I mean, from 3 years old I had that dream. But it was so strong, and finally the Lord really confirmed it to me that I needed to do that, and I had to make a choice. And what He put before me was Roodeval. You know? I mean, so you can imagine there's these two paths. Now, Roodeval, being as crazy, wild as it is, you guys don't really know it much. You've heard about it, but I mean, really gangster's paradise at that time. People who lived there were so scared to even, walk in the area.
Yeah.
If they came home in a taxi, they'd jump out the taxi, open the gates, close the gates.
Again. Mm-hmm.
No one would walk around. I mean, so this was the choice that was before me. Hollywood, Roodeval.
What a choice! What a choice!
What a choice! And and it was quite a me and God time. I couldn't really tell people. All my family and friends were part of church, and they all believed there was a calling on my life. But I felt I couldn't say, oh, but I want to go to Hollywood, get back to Hollywood. Can't God do something with me there? But God said clearly, Roodeval, and so I had to make that choice, and which I did, and I thought it was the death of a dream, but the Lord really showed me that it was going to be this people group that is gifted in the talents and the strengths of the arts. He was going to use these people to lead other communities and ultimately go to the nations. But I didn't know that at first, so for me if I had known it, it wouldn't have been such a faith step.
Yeah.
But because I felt like I was giving up absolutely everything.
Yeah.
That I think was the whole actual challenge.
Sure.
And then only when I had surrendered, and I had to give up everything. I mean, I was getting a really good salary in the film industry, and to know that I'm not going to be earning anything. But He did say to me very clearly, through somebody else, He said, you will never have to worry about finances. And I should think of those things today. I remind him of those things. So, and it really was true. So to give it up, not knowing where I was going, but just to be obedient.
Yeah.
And then, of course, that's where I met you, the little 5-year-old under the tree. And so, and I mean, even starting with under the tree, it was like I could think, oh, can I do performing arts and that? But it wasn't. There were just all these little children. So even, thinking, I don't want to work with children that I see are being abused. I don't want to work with women that are being abused. It's like, this is so remote to anything I've experienced. And then God always just said to me, do you trust me? And I really had to answer that honestly, like, do I trust Him? Absolutely. I've loved Jesus since I was 2. So yes, I'll trust Him. And then soon I found out that He was actually going to use musical theatre and ultimately film and media. So I love it. It's an exciting journey, and to take that step of faith, there's going to be fruit, but you don't know what the fruit's going to be. Because God's word is true. If you walk in obedience, there is fruit.
Yeah.
And so we don't need to know what it is. We just need to love God, be obedient, and do what He says.
Sure.
Yeah. And so we know the influence you have had on others. But like, what is this journey? How has it changed you or influenced you over the years?
I actually, when I tell this story, I often say, because when I relate it to meeting the people group of the Cape Colours, it's really like, who was going into missions? Weren't they maybe coming to me, you know, as ministers to me? Because, you know, my English culture is very square in a box, and my form of drukkie, you know, is drukkie. So and you know, when the first coloureds that I met, they didn't care about my space, they didn't care whether I wanted to dance or sing. They would just grab me, twirl me around, and actually my inner self did want to do that because I was a performing artist, you know. But because my culture says that we first practice and everything has to be excellent, Angela. Everything must be excellent before you ever perform it or show anybody. Not in this people group. If you feel it, express
You do it.
Yeah. So especially being in the film industry, I was very task orientated, and time, money, order, stewardship, all those things. And then all of a sudden, when I had a 9 o'clock meeting and my team was supposed to arrive, they're not there. 10:30, they're arriving. And I'm like, how can you be so late? And no, because we met this auntie and that uncle along the way. And if we don't say how they are, it's rude, and it's really offensive and dishonoring.
Yeah.
And you can ruin relationship. This is what they said to me. So I said, if you're not on time, you will ruin our relationship. So we had to find a middle ground.
Yeah.
So I think, and actually I asked the Lord, I said, why this people group? Because I was very unfamiliar with this people group. I grew up in Johannesburg, only knew when we came on holidays in December's. So it was unfamiliar, and I said, why? They're probably the opposite end of who I am. And God said, that's why I'm going to show you their strengths. Because of who you are, you'll see their strengths. And because of who they are, you'll see their weaknesses, and I'm going to grow you together.
Sure.
And it's been a journey of growing together with this people group.
What an impacting story.
I know. I'm so looking forward to hear from the next generation in the next episode.
Yes, so look out for us Fridays around the GellyBlik. Ciao.